Yeah, welcome guys. Back. We are here out at Altus Performance here in Trinity Forest, and there's been a lot of requests for another lesson with Cam. So we're back here grinding, trying to work on some things, and today is all about basically pelvis tilt, pelvis thrust, essentially.
And body flexion and impact.
And body flexion and impact.
Turning back into somewhat of an original posture that you started with at address. Whilst it might look like we're about to create the Brodie Smith, the Dark Horse golf video game.
It's not happening yet, maybe
yet.
in the future.
So we're going to start with this club and let's rock it. You know the ball position, yeah?
Yeah.
Arms up. Nice. And pretty flush.
That one felt pretty good. Maybe the club face was maybe a little closed. Felt pretty good too.
1.3. We got 5 irons. Now I want to get at least 3, if not 5 drivers. Now we could have gone through this whole process and digitized your club, but for efficiency, what we're really talking about is how you move your body. That
club doesn't really matter.
That reveals how you move your club. It wouldn't matter if we were trying to fit the entire environment of how the club flexes, extends, droops, rotates through impact.
But that's really not my issue, right?
Not your issue.
Yeah.
Your issue is body control.
Gotcha.
Giving rise to contact challenges and therefore flight challenges. Stand by. Nice job.
Brings me back to my Frisbee days where I just went double knee pads all the time because my knees were just so terrible. Just trying to stay alive. Heel.
Big heel.
Big heel.
Oh yeah, see right there.
Well, that's a good example of what not to do. I did that just for the video, guys.
Thank you.
It's so hard because I know what I need to be. I know like the feeling kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to do it.
This is great. Final one.
It's sick, huh?
Ready, man. Okay.
All right.
Let me grab that club. So let's have the discussion right now. We've got a really big spread of contacts from high toe on one of them. That was the first 6 iron that we hit. And then you started to show a pattern shift, a migration of contact into the center or on error, that low heel. So there's the lowest heel contact. I think that's the one that we made notation on.
As soon as I hit it.
As soon as you hit it, that it was a low heel contact, and I have to go back in and find that. And then we shifted to driver, and driver contacts over here. There's a center toe, 6 millimeters up in the toe and 3 millimeters high in the face. It's a nice contact location to hit on, and that's that dramatic heel, that second shot. So we'll start that guy as well for investigation. Okay, so we've got that.
I just look so similar to the tour average pro right now. All right.
Okay, we're gonna really drill down here.
Okay.
Really get inside the motion. Okay. The blue versus the yellow line, that represents your pelvis movement, both from a sway, which is a right-left, so your right-handed golfer, so away from the target in the backswing, towards the target in the downswing.
And that's something that we really worked on in my very beginning,
because
I was swaying way too much.
And we wanted to pivot with our mass relatively centered, and then we wanted to shift to the left to shift the low point, to shift the landing point of the club at back edge of ball rather than striking it fat. So you did a fabulous job with that. What we're really in particular looking for here is that which influences heel contact or thin contact, which you kind of know. It's the extension which happens as the pelvis shifts forward. And so we're just going to look at these metrics right here on the screen for thrust. And so we'll notice that as we get to the top of backswing, the thrust number for the blue player is actually in negative, which means half an inch of rearward movement of that player's pelvis, which is a compilation of tour players in the system. We'll call that tour average. in contrast to your pelvis motion, which is 1 inch of movement, or 9/10 of an inch of movement towards the target. So that's that extension, that's that thrust movement out towards the ball. Sometimes happens as a function of lack of body rotation depth. So what we can do is we can then go into the graphs here down the bottom and pan across to rotation. And so turn depth right here, we see it's not, your pelvis thrust is not happening as a function of turn depth at the same point in the backswing. You've got 38 degrees of pelvis rotation away from the target. That's negative rotation, that's good. And
this is what the tour average is?
Tour average is 37 degrees. So all the way to the top of the swing, you maintain that. So that's a really nice margin with almost the same match of ribcage rotation. Rotation is something we've worked on, haven't we?
This one, yeah.
Rotation at the butt and rotation up at the ribcage. Yeah. So that's all, that'll checks out quite nicely. So then we go back to just the pelvis motion and realize what happens on the downswing is this tour average player is going to maintain or actually increase the reverse thrust, pelvis going away, where your dot is continuing to go forward. So right now, approaching impact, in fact, let's just jump immediately to impact. You're 2 inches closer to the ball with your midsection, your pelvis, whereas tour average is 1 inch back the other way. That causes you a great susceptibility to hitting out of the heel, hitting it thin because your body's also elevating out of that. As your hips thrust forward, your chest comes backwards. That's that classic early extension that we've got to resolve. So these are some things that we've known, and we've developed a strategy, a drill-based strategy to help you correct them. But I think when you amplify it with a great visual and some biofeedback that we're going to use the gear system here for today, I think we should totally bid farewell and say goodbye to that as ever being a problem again.
I like that.
Yeah, and certainly notwithstanding, I think we've got to turn over all stones here, and you started getting back into working out, right?
Yep.
And so that's certainly one of the stones that we're going to turn over and make sure you have the mobility and the functional capacity to be able to do exactly what we need to do. So we'll consult with the guys at MJP to get on the same page relative to that. So a couple of things that we've done before is we've talked about the wall behind you. Taking a look at the golfer in blue over here, tour average. Butt cheeks start on the wall. Right butt cheek pushes back through the wall. As I zoom in, you can see that butt cheek pushing back. That's the right butt cheek, and then through impact,
goes from right to left.
That person reseats both butt cheeks, and then ultimately landing in a place where that left butt cheek is pushing through the wall. Let's pan across to you right now.
Oh boy.
Oh, here we go. Remember, you've got 2 inches of pelvis thrust out towards the golf ball. Do a good job in the early backswing, right butt cheek pushing,
and it's gone.
And then you start swinging. So imagine this. Imagine there was a electric fence, an oval electric fence right around maybe an inch in front of your belt at address. You maintain your space away from that fence in the early backswing, but right as you get to the middle of the backswing, you electrify yourself. And then you continue to maintain contact on that electric fence all the way through the downswing, which is why we continue to see, you never get it back, which is why we continue to see the space that shows up.
So one thing
between the wall.
One thing I would say is if I can get my backswing more here, pushing
against the wall.
It doesn't look like, because it looks like my problem is like here, like this part, and then from here it just gets worse,
it's
right?
Essentially P3 to P4. So it's lead on parallel to the ground to the end of the backswing, and it continues to become a problem as you transition to the downswing.
So I need to really just focus on that right here to keep pushing, and then from here get to almost where both butt cheeks are back, and then and see, that might be that strength thing too, because that movement right there for my left knee, that's tough.
You don't have to maintain flex in the left knee.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
It's really about moving back into forward flexion, which is a feeling of tail moving back to the wall and chest being close to the ground. Got it? So here's what I was talking about. P3, lead on parallel to the ground. You're on the wall. Right? Your butt is moving through the wall, but now right here you begin to lose it. So we've only lost 4/10 of an inch at lead on parallel in the backswing. Wind it up to the top of the backswing and you've doubled it.
Yeah, so like that last, what are you saying, P3 to P4? Is that what you're saying?
Left arm parallel to the ground, so midpoint of backswing to top of backswing.
That's where when you really lose it.
Yeah. All right, you ready to get the shot?
Yeah, and that probably also helps the over the top, like that horizontal
hand
movement.
path? Yeah, sure.
Fine.
Your starting's fine.
Okay.
And your starting will okay, recalibrate based on me snapping you in the proper form. Okay, you watching? This is not a strike. I just want you to make a backswing. I want you to make a backswing going negative. Yeah, good. Now I want you to make a downswing, staying negative.
Oh, I left. Where'd it go?
Rest post down. Good. Nice. Okay, let's capture one. Come on, baby. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Got it. Good rest. Okay, push negative, stay negative.
I got today is 1.6.
Good, let's hit it now.
Okay.
Push negative, stay negative.
Ah, yeah.
Did you?
I don't know.
Did you? I think you did.
I don't know. It was a beaut of a strike, though. My goal was just to get negative. Negative, negative, negative. Ah! Not as bad. Really bad on the downswing.
Try again.
Almost feeling like I'm going left.
How was that? Like, if you had to guess. Gears wasn't on, so we don't know, but if you had to guess. What would you say?
I would say it was better than the first one.
Okay. Stand by. Okay. That foam pull noodle is about an inch off your left butt cheek.
So I want to touch that as...
Nothing.
No, I didn't touch it. I don't know if I was close.
You brought it down to 9/10 of an inch of thrust to impact, so to speak, where your head can't push to me and your tail pushes back. Rehearse the backswing. Fantastic. Rehearse the downswing. Fantastic.
I felt your hand lift.
Fantastic. There's a bit of Ricky Fowler going on right now. Head's moving away from my fist here. Start again. Let's hit a couple just like this. Okay? I'm gonna be the wall. Hit it. Nice. From my fist. We got some desire. 7/10 to impact. Take a look. Take a look. Clearly starting at 0. Losing it to an inch. And nicely moving back to the pull noodle. Well done. 7/10.
I want that negative though, right?
I want that negative too. I want that negative as well.
Gosh, okay.
I'm going to change my position now. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to be pushing from the back. Practice backswing. Good. Practice downswing. Good. Practice backswing. Good. Practice downswing. Good. Okay, let's strike one. I'm going to give you a little bit of impulse of push, a little pressure. Nice! That was it. Practice backswing. Good. Practice downswing. Good. Here we go. Nice job. Nice job. It's a struggle right now. I don't think that's correct. I don't think that's correct at all. The elevator will start to club up top, and then you have to flex forward to get to the ground. Let's do that just in a trial run. No golf ball. Beautiful. That's what I want to see. Yeah, correct. Correct. I think there's a way for me to record practicing. Bring that ball in. Okay.
Practice swing, don't hit it.
No, let's hit it.
Okay.
There is a way for me to do it. Got it.
Ow! We're getting there!
Got it.
Negative point, okay.
That's it.
It's close.
And that's it.
Oh, that is it.
That's the linear motion you want. This is looking from above. Backswing. Went 7/10 negative through the.
But then kind of lost it. I lost it with P3, P4.
Yeah. But then you recovered on the downswing because of the elevator.
Yeah!
So that time you would have moved that forcefully into my fist or forcefully into that blue. We'll do it again. Well done. So that's our model for comparison right now. That one right there.
Come on.
Elevator. Push back, push back. Beautiful. 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 Yeah. You're not so sure whether you did it well or not. That's a pretty big false negative right there.
That thin?
Yeah. Okay. Feel it out.
Come on. The grind is on, guys. The grind is on. I think that's my best one yet. 1.39 smash, 195 carry.
We need a little bit of a barrier on the outside, which we practice with a lot, right?
Gotcha.
That guy right there, just to suggest that I don't need, or you don't need to extend your arms out now. You can just swing them back underneath you because you've got room. Your pelvis isn't thrusting forward, right? You're humping to the ball. Can I borrow?
Yeah.
Get you a step back. I want you to go back to the elevator. In fact, go back. You've been incorporating the elevator sensation every time, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Continue to incorporate the elevator sensation, but do it really slowly.
Slow.
Yep. Really slowly, just so we can amplify our efforts and our sensations on it. Slow. Elevator.
Slow, yeah, okay. Wow.
Good job, do it again.
That's a delete.
That's how I do it.
That's a delete. Dang. Just wasn't focusing there.
Man down.
Oh.
Man down.
Yeah, I wasn't focusing enough and it freaking ruined it.
It's okay. Some things have to recalibrate. So we can't use this one anymore. But we have enough of the improved product.
Bro,
Huh?
come on.
I know.
That's
I'm out here breaking products, guys.
So now we're going slow. We can layer on multiple variables. That's the sensation of pelvis, but it's also the sensation of hand path, traveling in closer to your right thigh as you're traveling forward. Beautiful. Feeling like the flight you're going to create, even though it's slow, is still starting right, push, draw, starting right, push, draw. Good. Beautiful. Yeah, nice job. Okay, come on over. So here's the net. We're just watching the thrust number.
Okay.
Yellow is the improved, the blue is the previous super heel contact.
Wow.
Early backswing, you've gone 5/10 negative versus 3/10 negative. Mid backswing, that point where you would lose it from before, right? You would lose it from P3 to P4, where you would go from 3/10 on both to top of backswing, you'd be 2/10 versus 5/10. Now the transition forward is where it really gets interesting. Look at that difference. Your transition into the downswing, I'll pan back out so we can see the entirety of the downswing motion. Looking from overhead, you're going straight linear with the center of pelvis. The center of pelvis is moving along the target line, or sorry, parallel to the target line, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, and
it's much better.
That causes you to have space underneath you to swing your arms underneath,
Correct.
to land at center and to shift the path of the club based on where you're aiming, rather than the path of the club shifting because your hand path is shifting steep, as we had talked about last time. Got it? So that's a cool improvement. Now we got to there by auditioning a variety of different feels. We had the obstruction off your tail.
Yeah.
I put my fist on your forehead, and as you were trying to grab that tail, that was only moderate effectiveness. Similar to going to the, the drugstore and picking up different strengths of pain relief medicine.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we revisited a familiar one from one of our very first sessions, which was elevator, which gives you the sense that if I lift the club off the ground, in order for me to get that club back down to the ground, I need to push my pelvis back and shift my chest forward. That's moving back into forward flexion. That's shifting the pelvis back out. And as long as I just swing my arms underneath my body at that point, then you're going to land at center and strike a pure.
Is there anything I can work on for just that, what we were talking about, that P3 to P4? Because that seems to be still... It's not as bad.
Yeah, I would suggest this. That since the golf swing is a short time phase, right? It's a second and a half. That you need to start feeling yourself move back into forward flexion, even in the backswing. Start feeling the sensation that you're using in the downswing in the middle of the backswing. Got it?
Gotcha.
That's the way it would work best.
Get that there,
Yeah.
and then...
So we're not additive, we're just amplifying the sense, and we're applying it a little earlier.
Earlier in the swing.
Yeah.
I like that.
Rather than having to do two things to try and incorporate this improved body pattern.
Now, would you say, for the people watching, would you say, I mean, obviously this is probably something that is a common error.
Massively common error of recreational players, for sure.
Is this something, because obviously we kind of went about it a different way, right? We did a bunch of stuff before we got to this point. Is this something that people can start working on right away if they've got other issues? Or is this something where it's like, well, wait until you get to this certain point?
No, this is a foundational issue.
You can start right away.
Most people's games, for sure.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of stuff that we did today, guys, you can have someone do. I think for me personally, feeling, his hand on my head and then feeling it on my backside, kind of pushing, you can have someone do that for you to help.
Golf bag behind you, driver behind you, alignment rod behind you, pull behind you.
Something to where you can just feel yourself pushing into it.
Yeah. Moreover, can you demo for everyone the elevator?
Yeah. So to get to the ground from here, I have to kind of push my butt back and get that pellet tilt. So I'm just going to go here and then really...
Beautiful. There's a whole array of contact area that recreational players have. Beautiful. And just like you're doing, it needs to be nice and slow, wide, so you can control and you can really sense.
You feel it.
That change in movement. Yeah. When it happens faster, it's harder to perceive. When it happens faster, it's actually more difficult to implement correctly. Beautiful. Cool.
So I basically want to get to that point where on my backswing, as I'm taking it back, I'm getting there.
You're feeling you're ready. Precisely.
Gosh, that's a game changer, guys.
Cool. Let's do this. Let's get you out of the system.
Okay.
Get you out of this stuff. Sustain elevator, sustain elevator, sustain elevator. Beautiful. And again, screw it together. Backswing. Got it? Ready when you are. Let's strike it. Visualize that push draw. Great job, even though you've added it. Good club path, shift to the right there. Excellent job. Great push draw. Elevator hand path. Oh, fantastic, well done. Great job. Baby draw right there. Good, rehearse back here. Bounce back, just forward, fantastic. Yeah, wonderful. Excellent.
Ooh.
By the way, you can't overdo this. Don't be afraid to overdo this. Don't be afraid to overdo
Really
sense
good.
of forward flexion. Don't be afraid to overdo that hand path shallowing in transition.
It's always easier to kind of dial it back.
Yeah. Far too often, like I think of adjusting swing styles with people, like balancing scales, bringing them back into optimal movement patterns, both body and club. And you provide these prescriptions as a coach, and you want to accelerate a person down that developmental pathway as fast as possible. And the fuel for the accelerated development is overemphasis and over-exaggeration. But oftentimes they leave the lesson tee or the coaching session, and the manner of exaggeration that they'll use themselves is a dramatic decline from the exaggeration that they produced in front of the coach. Gotcha.
They're trying to do it perfectly versus over-exaggerating like we're doing here.
Yeah. In fact, in learning, there's this concept called error amplification, which works on both sides. In order to build an awareness of change, what you want to do is you want to do your current version of bad worse, and then the current version of desired good even over good or over better.
Gotcha.
And what we're rehearsing right now, quite frankly, sometimes is a club path shift that's a little bit more than what we want.
Too much, okay.
But that's actually okay. Right now we're experiencing a little fat contact because you're forward flexing too much.
That's okay.
But again, that's okay. It won't be okay when you're hitting fat shots off the grass.
But that's why you're grinding
That's a short-term pain, right?
Yeah.
That's a short-term pain.
And I don't know if you caught it on camera, but I did ask, I was like, should I go play today or like just grind out on the range? And he was like, just grind out on the range. And so, am I gonna hit some nasty shots? Yeah. Are people gonna probably laugh at me? Sure, why not? But down the road, that's what we're looking at.
Said simply, anything worth doing is worth overdoing, particularly as it relates to improving your golf swing and golf game. Beautiful. Here we go. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. Overdo it. Excellent.
Well, that was almost.
That's brilliant.
That was almost perfect. Actually.
That is brilliant.
Overdo it.
Beautiful. Correct. Again, a fat one.
Yeah.
Great job. One more. Fantastic.
Oh!
Good job.
God, it's a good one to end on. See the creep? All right, so just for you guys that aren't seeing this, I don't think I, like just hitting it, what is this, 6? I just don't think I like really am, I mean, obviously we're still figuring out the swing.
We're down gearing a little bit.
We're down gearing a little bit because of just, but it's still going.
It's still going 202. We've seen you hit it 215, 260. We've seen you produce 151 mile an hour ball speed.
We've also seen me top it in the water.
That was with a different club.
Yeah, oh, that was a different club.
Yeah, that was a different club.
But it's just, it does feel, it feels like I'm finally actually getting that delivery posture, is that what you're saying?
For sure.
Because again, all the guys on tour, the one thing they all have in common is if you literally take a picture of them as they hit the ball, all the top guys, they look exactly the same almost.
Very much so.
Very similar.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of similarities in body posture, dynamic posture, the way they move their body through impact, for sure.
And I didn't. So that's what we worked on today. That's something that we can all work on. And off to the range now for a grind session.
Let's do it.
Boom, that's it, guys. Make sure you follow Altus on Instagram. They'll be down below. And they also have a YouTube channel that they're posting stuff on.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I've been seeing. Yeah, subscribe. I'll post them. I'll put them in the little channel thing too. And if you haven't been listening to their podcast, that's a spot that they really do a good job of talking to a lot of awesome guests about what make them successful. The one on Tony Romo is really, really good. And what was the last one you guys just did? You guys just did one with
The three amigos, the graduates.
Yeah, the
graduates. Austin Smotherman and Matt Gilbert.
Yeah, three guys that all went.
American Tour at web.com.
Yeah, and I think they're all playing this weekend in the web.com. So check out. This might actually go up next week, honestly. So they might have already completed it. Hopefully one of them won it. But we'll see you guys next time. Peace.